Just going through a full training camp, one of the players that I think stood out to everybody was DJ Reader. Just what did you see from him and his readiness for the season?
Well, the thing is, I watched DJ from afar, kind of being on other teams and just watching really good defensive linemen, then having the opportunity to coach him. This guy's body of work speaks for itself. He's pretty tough, reliable, gritty. He the kind of type player you want on the nose.
Talking to Taylor Decker yesterday, and he said the best athlete on the team might be sorry, I just went blank.
Take your time.
Let me go back. The best athlete on the team might be Davenport. I'm just curious what you've seen from him and that duo with Aiden when healthy and on the field together all year.
You know what? I feel like we're blessed with really two talented players at the position, and both work extremely hard. Both are extremely dependable. They're tough. They really embody what we want to be here on defense, and just having them in the meeting room every day and watching them work together is really a joy to see.
Specifically on Davenport, because people, at least on the outside, tend to look and say, "Oh, he's been injured. We don't know what he's going to be." What is he when healthy? What do you have in him?
No, I think he's a really good player. I think sometimes the injuries give him a knock on him, but football's a collision sport. People run into each other, they get hurt, so that's just part of it. So the thing is with him, he wants to take all the reps. He never wants to come off the field. He's just a really true hard-nosed football player.
Where'd you see the most growth from Tyleek?
You know what? From Tyleek, when I look at it, it's just the learning curve coming from here and the speed of it. He played major college football. You don't get much bigger than the school he came from. But coming in here and the expectations and everything. So the thing with him, we're just concentrating on him trying to get better every day and continue to work to finish.
There's obviously a outside obsession with the edge rushing situation. You did add one off waivers in Wheat. I'm just curious, as a coach that's gone through this dozens of times, what is your onboarding process for a new guy? And spending a week around him, what have you got to know about Tyrus's game?
All the guys that they brought in have really just kind of really been impressive guys to work with so far. I know Brad and Coach and Dan, they're going through their process of evaluating them, this and that, but all of them have been really a joy to work with, and all of them kind of have a different kind of element to them. We have Dre, who's super tall. You have Tyler, who's big as a house. Then you have Wheat, who's somewhere in the middle. It's just, it's funny each year you see this when the personnel people and everybody just kind of take a flyer on some guys and this and that, and those guys have been really impressive.
Hey, with Mekhi Wingo, Dan just mentioned how far he's come in the past week and a half. How do you envision him fitting into this defensive line?
Well, the thing is, anybody we brought in, we feel like we'll have them ready to go. Our system is complicated, but it's user-friendly. So the thing is, the more they get in, the more reps they get, it'll be something that they can handle. It ain't something that will be overwhelming to them.
I guess, what does he do uniquely that you feel like you can put to use in this defense?
When you look at, we like his quickness, we like his strength at the point of attack, athleticism. Sometimes we look at players and we say, well, he's a first and second down run stopper. This guy's just a pass rusher. We like guys that can do all three. And so that's the kind of way we kind of like to build the room.
Kacy, obviously rushing the passer is something that a lot of fans and people on the outside look to as being kind of the flashy defensive statistic and sacks.
Gotcha.
But how much is still stopping the run, the bread and butter of this team, and how can you guys get back to being the number one run-stopping defense, especially with some new pieces there in the middle?
That's probably the best question I heard in a long time, from the standpoint of a lot of people don't really, if you want sacks, you better stop the run, because if you don't stop the run, you won't get sacks, because it's hard to get sacks on 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. So you better try to get them in 3rd and long in order to get sacks, and it all works relative. If you stop the run, we like to say you earn the right to rush the quarterback. If you're 2nd and 3 instead of 2nd and 9, you didn't really earn the right to rush, and so they limit your opportunities to rush, and so that's the kind of thing is, and that's really good. People get hung up on the sack number. This and you need 10 sacks this game. You need to finish around 50. This and that. It's kind of all relative. It's all relative.
With that said, how much of a challenge does Green Bay provide in the rushing attack?
Well, the thing is, this will be a huge test. You know, we presented the run to the guys the other day, and it was about 5-6 categories that they finished top 5 in last year, and that's impressive. And anytime, you know, and the guys respect that, and they looked at it and said, well, you know, we understand that's the kind of way they made their brother. They got a tremendous back, a very talented offensive line, and the way they have built and put together, they built to come downhill and run at you, and they do a very good job at that.
You might know Pat O'Connor better than anybody in this building, having spent all those time with him. But he played more last year defensively than at any point in his career.
Right.
You know, to get a more on-field experience, Pat O'Connor, and to have that, I guess, personality continuity with you. How valuable has that been with you as you've, you know, adjusted to a new situation?
You know, throughout this league, every team will want a Pat O'Connor for the different hats he wears. You know, we look going back through the cut-ups when I first walked in the door here. He played the nose, he played the 3, he played the big end. It's just, you know, like a Swiss Army knife. The more jobs you can do, and then you look up and Pat and have an X amount of special teams play. He's just a tremendous asset from that. And, you know, my hat goes off to him because he's earned the trust of the coaching staff. No matter what we ask Pat to do, we feel like he can get the job done.
Kacy, from your perspective, when you turn on the film, what's been your assessment of the young guards, Tate Ratledge and Christian Mahogany?
You know what? Having to work against those guys every day, they have really stepped in and made tremendous strides. I've seen a lot of guards in this league, and those guys, one, the way Hank coaches them, the way they come to practice every day, they kind of embody the grit, toughness, hard work, and they have been very impressive to me.
What have you learned about the way this team carries itself since you've been here?
That is a direct reflection of the head coach. Kind of as long as I've known Dan, and the thing that everything he embodies, it totally has filtered through the team by the way we practice, the way we work, the way we do things. It's all starting at the top.
You won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. What's the how important is it to be playing your best football at the end of the season? I know we're at the beginning right now, but how important is it to be peaking in December, January to get there?
I think you just hit the nail on the head, really. It's important, one, and the biggest aspect that I tell her is to stay healthy. Number 2 is be playing your best football at the end of the year, because that's when it all counts. Because, you know, if you get in that tournament, it's a single elimination tournament, so you need to be at your best.
And then what are the things you can do now to sort of help you get to that point, I guess, late in the year?
Well, the thing right now, you know, each year the 53 changes. So when you look at this team, is how fast this team can gel and be playing their best football as fast as they can.